Hi, my name is Carina and today I will react to the Goodreads Choice Awards. The Goodreads Choice Awards are an award that Goodreads, the platform where you can rate books and put them on your TBR and stuff, gives. It's like a public choice awards. There are some nominees, you can vote on them in the opening round, and then in the final round you have some books that got the most votes and you can vote again. And then there are winners announced. And I'm going to show you in this video my voting for all the rounds because I did participate, and then I'm going to react to the winners and we'll see what I thought, if I was correct with like predicting which one was going to win, and we'll just have fun. So let's start. Hi. So I have recorded myself doing the first round of the Goodreads Choice Awards, but then I found out I literally read none of the books that were nominated in all the genres. Those are like hundreds of books. It's like 20 books per category, and there are, I think, 15 categories or something. And every year you could also nominate your own favorites, but they deleted that option. So that's not even the case. So I know none of the books, which is a problem. So I asked you in my reading vlog if you wanted to have the video anyway and how you would like to see it then. And some people said they really wanted to see the Goodreads video and then just wanted to know what I thought was going to be the winner, if I heard about the books and anything like that. But that means I need to re-record the first round of the Goodreads Choice Awards. So I'm going to do that right now. So you can already see on which books I voted, but I will also show you in each category which I will think will be the winner. Apart from that, I also changed some settings in my screen recording program, and it should work better than it did with my last videos that had some screen recording. So I hope it works out. Let's see. And if it doesn't, we will find a solution for that. So let's go to the books. So I will go to the Choice Awards page, and I first have to warn you for something, being that I am this horrible person that votes well she didn't read the book. But I do have a reason for that. I know it is wrong, and I know you shouldn't do it just because everyone else does it, but that is exactly the reason that I do it in this case. But that is because the Goodreads Choice Awards are, in my opinion, a representation of the books that are most popular of that year. And with popular, I don't only mean like the best rating, because if they would just choose the 20 books with the best rating, it would have looked completely different, because that's definitely not the case. They just choose books that they think will be popular. So of course, if they have a really bad rating, they are not nominated. But sometimes they are nominated while you're like, this is the worst rated book by this author. Maybe this is not the right book to nominate, but okay. But I do like to vote because it's just fun to cheer for a book, and you know everyone does it, so that's kind of how the competition goes. That's kind of the purpose. So I like to vote for a book that I heard great stories about, because it represents the year of 2021, because I've heard a lot about that book this year, and I want the winners to be books that if I look at them I'm like, oh yes, this was 2021, that was a good reading year or something, you know? Even if I didn't read the book, it is about that the book is the typical book of this year in that category. So I still like to vote. Okay, so let's start with the first section, and that is best fiction. As you can see, I chose Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Dower. I didn't read any of the books, as I told you, so also this one I did not read. It is not even on my TBR yet, but I did read All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Dower, and I really liked that one. So that's why I chose it. And I actually also think that's the one that's going to win, because a lot of people think the same way. A lot of people read All the Light We Cannot See. So I can really imagine this book being the winner. It also has an average of 4.31 stars out of 5, which is quite high, but the amount of ratings are not that high, so I'm curious to see how it will look like. Overall, I would also find it very fun if Dial A for Aunties was going to win, because I heard great stories about this one. It surprised a lot of people, and people are just really enthusiastic about it, so that's nice. Yeah, overall, of course, a new book by Sally Rooney is also always popular, but the rating of this one is quite low. Well, it's not low, but you know. But of course, this is always a big chance that this one wins, because people just really know the author, and the show Normal People is very popular and was very popular this year, so more people got to know the author. So I think this one will win, or Cloud Cuckoo Land, and I would be pleasantly surprised if Dial A for Aunties would win. There is, by the way, another reason that I like to vote. I read all the books that ever won a Goodreads award, and I'm still back at 2011 when the Goodreads Awards started. I haven't even read all of those, so I'm taking my time, but in the end, I want to have read all of them. Then it's also nice to vote for a book that I feel like I would read anyway, or that I'm really excited to read later. So that's also why I'm voting. Let's go to mystery and thriller. I vote for The Last Thing He Told Me because I've heard great things about it. A Stephen King book has always a big chance of winning because everyone knows Stephen King and a lot of people actually really like it. I didn't really hear about this book, so that's most of the times not a very good sign, but the average rating is really high, 4.30, so maybe that one will win. I also heard about Local Woman Missing, and that's also nice. I think people really like that. I also heard about A Slow Fire Burning, but this is not a very high rating. And I also think it's mostly popular because Paula Hawkins wrote The Girl on the Train, but not because people really like this book. So I don't know. I also heard about The Maidens. That is the most creepy book ever, so that's cool. And I heard great things about The Push. It really surprised people and people really like it. So I wouldn't be surprised if The Push won, but I'm putting my money on Stephen King because it's a highly rated book and it's Stephen King, so yeah, it will probably win. Next category is historical fiction. I'm always surprised that Taylor Jenkins Reid is actually nominated as historical fiction because that's just kind of weird in my opinion, but I voted for it anyway because I didn't read Malibu Rising, but I read both The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six this year. So Taylor Jenkins Reid is like the author that I came across in 2021. So I would find it very funny if Malibu Rising won this year. I do also think it has a big chance of winning because people really like Taylor Jenkins Reid and they said it's a nice new story by her. Kate Quinn also always has a big chance of winning because the Alice Network is so popular and the average rating of this one is 4.48, which is incredible. So I think this one could also really win. Malibu Rising has an average rating of 4.11, which is great, but it's different, not as high. Kristen Hanna also is a very popular author, of course, so she could also win, but I haven't heard about this book that much, so, well, it has a lot of ratings actually. So maybe that's just my mistake. So maybe this one can actually win, but I have a feeling it will be The Rose Code. Now I'm saying it, I'm not sure, because there are a lot of people that rated this one, but we will see. Going on to fantasy, I was really disappointed that I hadn't read any of these. I did hear about a lot of them. Under the Whispering Door is from the same author as The House of the Cerulean Sea. Really, really popular. I heard a lot about it this year. So maybe they would vote for this one because they liked that other one as well, you know. This is, of course, like the third part in the Blood and Ash series. And that one is also incredibly popular. I am going to read the first part. It is on my TBR, and I will get it as a travel book from one of my friends later on. So I am curious, but I really hope it doesn't win. Because, I don't know. She writes so incredibly quick, Jennifer L. Armentrout. So that's really impressive. But I don't know. But I just don't really like her that much. So I didn't want it. And of course, Sarah J. Maas is always nominated and she almost always wins. So I think A Court of Silver Flames is going to win. This book is immensely popular. It's incredible. It has a lot of sexy scenes in there, as I understood. So people like that. So I think this one is gonna win. I also heard about The Witch's Heart, Ariadne for the Wolf, and The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik. And I heard about all of them. We were planning on reading one of these 3 books with our book club. I voted for this book. I really loved the synopsis of this one, so I vote for it now. So maybe I will read it in the end. After all, I am sorry, I need to go through this a little bit quicker because otherwise this video is going to be taking forever. Okay, so let's go to romance. I never read romance, so probably not now either. I heard great things about The Ex-Hex. I heard great things about One Less Stop. The Love Hypothesis as well. And People We Meet on Vacation also. So there were a lot of them. But the only one that is on my TBR, or at least the first book in this series is, so in the end we will finally read this one as well, probably, is Act Your Age, Evie Brown. And I heard great things about that series, so I hope that one is gonna win, but I think it will be People We Meet on Vacation. Because everyone seemed to have read that book, and it has millions of ratings, well, not millions, but you know, and a 4.10 average, so I think that's the one. And then science fiction, I would always vote for Becky Chambers, although I didn't read this one yet, but I love her writing, so I definitely voted for this one. I do think people are very interested in this one because it is a very popular author, but it has not that much ratings, so I don't think it will win. And I do think Andy Weir with the Project Hail Mary will win because everyone loves The Martian and a lot of people also love Artemis. It's just the most famous author in here, so I think that one will win. Horror, I never read horror, so I don't really know. I voted for Stephen King because it's the only author I know, and I haven't heard of any of these books. That's probably my mistake, but I have no clue about these books. I literally didn't hear of any of them. So I also think Stephen King is gonna win because Stephen King always wins. So putting my money on that one. Then humor. I also hadn't heard about any of these books. Like literally none of them. But I do really like memes. So I chose the book that sounded most funny. She Memes Well. But I don't think that one will win. Which one would win? I really have no clue. I don't know any of them. Maybe Black Nerd Problems. It has a high rating. Oh, that only... How do these books even get nominated? This book has 146 ratings. That is like nothing. Oh well. I'm so confused by this. I have no clue which one is gonna win. I don't know them. Weird. Non-fiction. I do read non-fiction, but I never read the books that get nominated. I did hear about this one, The Comfort Book by Matt Haig. I do think it has a high chance of winning because people love Matt Haig, and he regained popularity by the Midnight Library, which was very, very popular. I read a book by George Sanders as well, and he's also very popular, and 4.57 rating is incredible. So maybe he will win. And John Green also always has a big chance of winning. I think it's actually going to be John Green. Well, maybe it's Matt Haig, but I do not think George Sanders will win. But I do think it will be one of those three. The recording does seem to work better, so that's great. Let's go to memoir and autobiography. I also hadn't heard about any of these people. Well, that's not true. I heard about some of these people. I heard about her and about him. But not about the books they wrote. They don't really seem that interesting to me. I really like this cover and also the title, so I just chose this one, and maybe it will win because it has a very high average rating and quite some people read it, so who knows. Then history and biography. This book sounds awesome. The Three Mothers, How the Mothers of Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and James Baldwin Shaped a Nation. I love those kind of books, the people behind other people that made them who they are. That's just so cool. And again, I didn't hear about any of these books, which probably is my mistake, but I didn't. So I hope this one wins. I really hope this one wins. This sounds so awesome. Okay, so they put graphic novels and comics together this year. And I'm not sure which one will win. I love Avatar, so I voted for an Avatar comic. Although I haven't read Avatar, at least the graphic novels yet, so whoops. Dune has regained a lot of popularity this year, so this one could win. It's published in 2020. Why is it nominated for this year? Well, okay. V. Schwab also is very popular all the time, so a great chance of winning, although Avatar is of course also still a very big thing, but I don't know if a lot of people read the graphic novels actually. So I think it will be any of those three. June is most popular this year, but I think V. Schwab will win, but I'm not sure. Poetry collections. I chose the one of Amanda Lovelace because I heard her poetry collections are the best. They get nominated every year, but I haven't read one yet, so that's a shame. I also haven't heard about any of these, and this is the only poet that I know about at the moment. Well, like that is nominated. Oh, no, is Amanda Gorman not the girl? Yes. Oh, maybe I want to vote for that one. Yes, I do. Can I change my vote? Please? Because she did the poetry reading at the presidential inauguration. But I haven't read it yet. I have heard it, but I am very curious. I am going to see if I can. Oh, here, clear vote. Okay, and then I'm going to vote for that one. Cool. I am very curious if that one will win, because it really is an important book in 2021. So that would be a good one to win, in my opinion. A debut novel, I was really surprised there was none in there that I actually had read, but okay. I heard about Honey Girl, which apparently is good, but I didn't hear anyone being extremely excited. I voted for The Firekeeper's Daughter because I heard a lot of people talk about this one. And I also love the cover. And yes, it apparently is very creative, original, and very popular. And it really describes the year for me because so many people loved it. The Paper Palace I also heard about, The Push as well, The Spanish Love Deception, The Gilded Ones. I don't know which one's gonna win, but I think The Firekeeper's Daughter has a big chance of winning. But maybe The Gilded Ones could also win. I also heard a lot about that book, so we'll see. Then my favorite sections, because usually I had read a lot of them, but not this year. Best Young Adult Fiction. I actually didn't read Aristotle and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World yet, but I loved the first part. I also haven't read The Box in the Wood yet, but Truly Devious, the first book, is on my TBR. The Firekeeper's Daughter is here again, of course. Ace of Spades, a lot of people have read that. The Girls I've Been, I lately won this book, but then the Dutch translation. I didn't know it was this popular, so I find it very interesting that this one is actually here. And I almost read it, but I think I won't finish it in 2021. Otherwise, I might have voted for this one because it would have been the only book I read. Yes, the Hawthorne Legacy is very popular. Everyone is so excited that the sequel of the Inheritance game finally came out. Introductions for Dancing by Nicola Yoon. I heard a lot of positive things about this. As Good as Dead is, of course, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, the third part in there. You Have a Match, I heard a lot about. Concrete Rose is the prequel to The Hate You Give, which is one of my favorite books ever. And Tokyo Ever After is the sweetest young adult romance, and everyone hypes about it. So which one would win? I have no clue. I voted for Concrete Rose because I have this book. I have two of the books here, but this one I'm looking forward to the most because The Hate You Give is one of my all-time favorite books. The prequel must be great. I am certain of it. I don't know which one is gonna win. Maybe Tokyo Ever After, because I heard very many people talking about it. Same for Instructions for Dancing, but it could also be the Hawthorne Legacy because people were really looking forward to it. It could also be Aristotle and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World because people have been looking forward to this book forever because the first part had been out for quite some time. So it was a surprise that it suddenly came out this year, and I think a lot of people will vote for it, although they haven't read it yet. So yeah, maybe this one. But I also think Concrete Rose has a big chance because people love Angie Thomas, and of course they write with that. And then young adult fantasy and science fiction. Well, Lore was very popular, but people were mostly excited about it coming out and then afterwards a little bit disappointed. At least that's what I heard. I haven't read it yet. These Hollow Vows people really liked, and it's something new. Sky Beyond the Storm, people couldn't wait for it to come out, so I think it has a big chance of winning. Lost in the Neverwoods, I heard a lot of people being quite disappointed actually. So it was also just as Lore, mostly that people were excited that it was going to happen, this book, but not about how it turned out. Rainbow Rowell is always having a lot of fans. Gods and Monsters, Serpent and Dove is one of the most popular series at the moment. The Ones We're Meant to Find, also The King of like all these books. Cassandra Clare with Chain of Iron. Yeah, and you know, people are such big fans of this book and also of this series, of course. And Once Upon a Broken Heart, the new series by Stephanie Garber, who wrote the Caraval series. You know, everyone waited for like almost all of these books. So I have no clue which one is gonna win. I think. And Rule of Wolves. Where did it come from? Oh, I just didn't scroll down enough. Or Violent Ends as well. Oh. Well. Then I think it's going to be a close call between Chain of... Huh? Oh, this is Chain of Iron. I said Chain of Gold, right? Sorry. Chain of Iron. Once Upon a Broken Heart and Rule of Wolves. But I think Rule of Wolves is gonna win because Lee Bardugo always wins. But I voted for Namesake because Adrian Young is one of my favorite authors at the moment. Namesake is the sequel to Fable, and Fable I did buy this year. I haven't read it yet because I sent it away as my travel book, so other people are first going to read it and write annotations in there. So I'm very curious and I can't wait to read it. So it actually does feel a little bit as a 2021 book for me because I ordered Fable this year. And then middle grades and children's books. Rick Riordan always gets nominated with 1 or 2 books, you know. And I actually voted for Daughter of the Deep because that's the book that I own. I got it from the publisher to review. And I actually think I can finish this one before the end of 2021. So that's why I chose this one. Then at least I've read 1 book and I voted for it. Victoria Schwab always wins. Well, I want to say always wins this, but that's not true. With the children category, most of the times Rick Riordan wins. I also heard about Amari, but I didn't hear if it was good, only that it existed. Okay, I think Daughter of the Deep is actually gonna win. Well, no, but because it's just published. I think Victoria Schwab's book is gonna win. Bridge of Souls. Yeah. So, that was it. So, I'll see you back when we're going to do the finals. I'm very curious to see which books made it to the finals, and then we're gonna vote again. Hello. So, now it's time for the final round of the Goodreads Choice Awards. And there is nothing really different from the first opening round, so I'm going to go through this quickly because I don't think it's that exciting. Normally it was exciting because people could nominate their own favorites, and if a book got nominated that often that it was exceeding the ones that actually were nominated but got lesser votes, then that book was in the top 10. So you could see completely new books. That didn't happen this time because that function doesn't exist anymore. I am curious to see if the ones I voted for are still in the top 10, because these are the top 10s of every category. So I hope to see that they are still in the top 10, and then I will vote for them again. And if the ones I thought were going to win are out, I'm going to predict a new one, but I don't see that big of a chance. Okay, the first fiction. Oh, well, there we see the one I voted for. So I'm going to vote for it again. And is there any surprise? Not really. I thought this one was going to win, or the one I'm voting for, Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Dower. I'm happy to see this one is still there, Dial A for Aunties. So, nothing new. Mystery and thriller. I think I just voted for Stephen King. Yes, this one. Oh yeah. I thought maybe one of these two was going to win, or that one, but they are all still in, and I'm still going to vote for Stephen King. Historical fiction, I voted for Taylor Jenkins Reid. That's also still in. I thought Taylor Jenkins Reid or Kate Quinn was going to win, and that one is also still in. So I'm not sure. I think nothing special happened here. So fantasy. Oh, I voted for something called blah 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 the Wolf or something, but that one isn't here anymore. So that's a shame. I still think Sarah J. Maas is going to win, and otherwise Jennifer L. Armentrout is going to win. So that's not a surprise. I love this cover so much that I'm really attracted to it, but I also think Gigi Kloon is really typical for 2021 because I've never heard of him before this year, and this year everyone talks about him, so maybe I'm going to vote for this one then. Yes, I'm going to do that. Okay, romance. I thought People We Meet on Vacation was going to win, but I think I voted for actor H. Eve Brown, so I'm voting for that one again. Science fiction. Oh yes, I voted for Becky Chambers, of course. I was like, do I know any of these? I still think, by the way, that Project Hail Mary is going to win. But I'm glad that Becky Chambers is actually in the top 10. That's good news. Horror, I never read horror, so I think I voted for Stephen King, as always. Humor, I voted for something with meme in the title, I remember. Well, that one is not here anymore. Okay. Okay, this one sounds interesting, it's at least, so I will go with this one. Non-fiction. I think I voted for the comfort book by Matt Haig. The Codebreaker sounds interesting. Best graphic novels and comics. I think I voted for. Oh no, I voted for Avatar. Of course, I voted for Avatar. There is no surprise in this category. I voted for Amanda. Amanda Gorman. Yes, she's still there. Is the other Amanda also still here? Yes, Amanda Lovelace is also still here. I think one of those is going to win. Debut novel. I think I voted for The Firekeeper's Daughter, right? But I would also not be surprised if the Push one or the Gilded Ones. But I'm voting for The Firekeeper's Daughter. Young adult fiction. I voted for Concrete Rose, I remember. I don't think there's that big of a surprise. I know all these books still, so. Young adult fantasy and science fiction. Oh no. This is really a collection of very popular authors bringing just a random new book. Holly Black, Cassandra Clare, Leigh Bardugo. Yeah. Oh no. And Namesake by Adrian Young is not there anymore, which is my favorite one. I don't really. It's also like Once Upon a Broken Heart is also because Stephanie Garber is popular, and Lore is also because of Alexandra Bracken, who is popular. So I haven't read any of these, and I think I'm just going with this one because I heard great things about it, and at least it's not that popular of an author, so that's more interesting. She's not gonna win, but never mind. And Best Middle Grade and Children's, yay, Daughter of the Deep. At least one book that I'm planning on reading in 2021, so that I have at least read one, you know? Well, that was it. And we'll see who actually wins. And then I'll going to give my feedback on that, because I have opinions. It is time for the Goodreads Choice Awards results. The results are in, the winners are known. I am really curious to see. I one day want to read all these books. So let's see who the winners are. I'm very, very interested. Okay, I don't want. Okay. We see 4 at the same time. Okay, so for fiction, it is Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. I already thought this one was going to win, although I said multiple ones, because it's the author of Normal People, which is a very popular book. And there also came a series out of it, so it was also very popular this year. It won with almost 70,000 votes. Oh, but actually, Dial A for Aunties is second. I really like that. And I thought maybe Anthony Dower would win, but nope. So, well, I guess I need to read this book now. But I'm very happy this one actually became second, because I heard great stories about it. So it deserved to end high. Okay, let's see the next one. Mystery and thriller. The Last Thing He Told Me. I did think this one was going to win. Well, at least Stephen King didn't win. That's a change. He almost always wins. I also heard great things about The Maidens and The Push, so I am quite surprised actually. But it was my choice, so I did help this one to win. So historical fiction, I already saw it, but I'm really happy that Taylor Jenkins Reid won, because she should win always. Her books are amazing. I am not really sure if I find this historical fiction, but yeah. Does it matter? I don't think so. So I'm happy this one won. Let's go to fantasy. I already saw it. I'm quite disappointed, but not surprised. Of course, A Court of Silver Flames won. Sarah J. Maas always wins when she participates. That is, of course, a bit of a shame. People Will Meet on Vacation. That's also what I expected. How cool. I'm actually not surprised at all about this top 6. I expected them to be in this order, exactly this order. So, cool. I am curious about this book, so I'm happy that it's now kind of on my TBR. Yeah, not surprised at all for the best science fiction. Project Hail Mary was definitely going to win because everyone loves Andy Weir. So yeah. Oh, Becky Chambers didn't win. Ooh. I'm gonna read this book anyway, as you can see, to read later, it says for me. That's actually like my TBR. I'm weird. On my TBR, I have the books that I already own or am plan on buying when it's on top of my TBR because they are in order, or can borrow from someone that I know. So I actually already have a purpose for these books, and my to read later, which I created, is actually my actual TBR, how other people use TBR. So just books I'm very interested in and I want to read one day, but I have no clue when. Okay, horror. Well, Stephen King again didn't win. That's interesting. Stephen King didn't win any of these books. Well, never heard of this. I am not sure if I want to read it because I'm not really into horror, but well. The Final Girl Support Group. This sounds horrible and very scary, but yeah, that's exactly what it's meant to do. Best humor. Broken. In the best possible way. Isn't she like the same author that always writes these books? Wait. Yes. Oh, I did hear great things about her other books. So I'm like, now I know that, I'm not surprised that she won because I've heard so many great things about these other two. So that's really cool. And I also didn't know that these other two were quite old, actually. Well, old, you know what I mean. That it took 6 years to publish a new book. I'm not surprised at all that she won then. And I'm curious to read it one day. When I finally get there. Yes, John Green won Best Non-Fiction. What a surprise. And Matt Haig is also very high. Also not a surprise. But yeah, what is this actually about? A podcast series. Essays about history, science, and a memoir. Okay. Doesn't sound very John Greenish, but okay. Maybe it's cool. Best memoir and autobiography. Crying in H. Mark. It's about a musician. Cool. Okay, I'm interested in that. I didn't know which one was going to win because I didn't really know these people. So, yeah. I am interested. History and biography. Empire of Pain. Well, sounds fun. But okay. Not surprised either. But also, oh yes, I wanted that one to win, but it didn't. Graphic novels and comics. Lore Olympus Volume 1. Another Greek mythology thingy. That's interesting. I really didn't expect that one to win. I never heard about it actually. And it was not a close call at all. It won by millions. Well, I am a little bit exaggerating. But at least it won with like 25,000. Which, okay, 15,000. Which is also interesting. Because I really thought Dune was going to win. Because Dune has made a comeback. And Avatar can always win. V.E. Schwab can always win. So I'm very surprised that this book I never heard about actually won. And I'm very interested to see this. I really want to buy it now, but yeah. Okay, please. Yes! Okay, I'm really happy this one won. It's my vote. I didn't notice that it was hers, but I really, really, really think she deserved to win this because her speech at President Biden's inauguration was like one of the main events this year. So I do think that it's only right that she dominates this and wins this Choice Award. Debut novel? The Spanish Love Deception. Okay. Interesting that it became so high in romantic and at best debut novel. I'm quite surprised that The Firekeeper's Daughter and The Push didn't win. Actually, there are quite some books on here that I suspected to win and not this one, so that's interesting. That's nice. Young adult fiction. Oh, The Firekeeper's Daughter did win here. That's nice. Well, I'm quite surprised, actually, because this one could have won. Well, oh, it was a very close call. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. I am very surprised that, well, not that this one won, but that it was so close, because indeed every book of these could have won. I would have been better off if it was either this one or that one, because they are already on my list. I'm also, or this one, but that one was out already. Well, what a surprise. Lee Bardugo won. I didn't read the book, so I can't really say that it shouldn't win, but it's just, you know, it's so typical. Yeah, Namesake should have won. Okay, well, not really surprised. Cassandra Clare was also very high. And Lore didn't have that many good reviews, so it would have been weird if that one won. So I'm quite happy with this. I'm gonna read it anyway, so that's good. Yay! Yay! Well, there is a chance. Whoa! It was only with 500 votes. That's not a big change. My vote really helped. Well, so if I actually read this year, which I'm planning to, I have read one book already. Woohoo! How great! Okay, I'm really happy with that. That's the last one, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. Very cool. Hi. So I just recorded the last part of the Goodreads Choice Award, and I am very happy with the results. Most of the books I had heard of and I plan on reading, or I am just happy that they are on my TBR now, so that's great. The only book I might read in 2021 even won a prize, so great. Then I have read one, which is awesome. And I really hope you liked how this was going. I'm curious to see if you thought the right people won, because if you have read any of these books, I'd like to know if they are worth it. Which books do you think should have won? Are you surprised with the ones that actually won? I'm not. So I am curious to hear if you are. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you subscribe to my channel and you click the notification bell, you will be notified whenever I post a new video. And I really enjoyed making this, so I hope you did too. I hope you'll have a lovely day filled with books, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye! Now I reduced the quality of the screen recording a little bit. It's working way better. I'm so happy with that. All these videos with screen recording kept being so stressful, but not anymore.